Get off my land before I have you arrested. The shrill voice sliced through the calm morning air like nails on glass. I looked up from my surveyor's map to see Madeline Crane, a woman in a cream blazer, marching furiously across the overgrown field toward me, a clipboard gripped like a weapon. Her designer heels sank into the soft dirt with every step, but she didn't slow down. Two people trailed behind, struggling to keep up. I'd owned this land for exactly 3 days, and already someone was trying to kick me off it. This was going to be interesting. The March sun hung low over my newly purchased 2-hectare lot on the edge of Willow Creek County, its light glinting off the dew-soaked grass. After years of corporate grind, fluorescent lights, pointless meetings, fake smiles, I had finally escaped. This patch of earth was my future, a small organic farm, peaceful and self-sustaining. I was studying the surveyor's map when Madeline stopped at the rusted fence line that marked the boundary between my land and the Silver Oaks Homeowners Association. Her perfect hair didn't move an inch despite the breeze. "I'm Madeline Crane, president of the Silver Oaks HOA," she announced coldly, motioning to the neat rows of houses behind her. "Any construction here must be approved by us. We have standards." I smiled politely. "I'm Ethan Cole, new owner of this property. And according to the county, this land isn't part of your HOA. I showed her the documents on my phone, clear proof that the boundary ended exactly at the old fence. She didn't even glance at it. "That's irrelevant. Whatever you build will affect property values." The woman beside her, Rachel, I later learned, tried to speak, but Madeline cut her off with a glare. "I appreciate your concern," I said, keeping my voice calm, "but I don't need your permission. I'm starting an organic farm. Clean, legal, and sustainable." Madeline's eyes narrowed. "You have no idea what you're dealing with, Mr. Cole. This community has standards." Her gaze slid toward my small wooden cabin. "That eyesore won't be tolerated." The man behind her, George, snapped a picture of it. The sound was deliberate, threatening. I nodded. "Is there anything else?" "You'll be hearing from us," she said sharply before marching off. As soon as she left, I opened my phone and recorded everything I remembered. Something about her tone felt off, too personal, too controlling. That night, I installed my first security camera. 3 quiet days passed. Then, on the 4th morning, I found a white envelope taped to my gate. Notice of violation. According to the HOA, I'd violated community aesthetic standards and had 7 days to remove my cabin or face penalties. The problem? My property wasn't even part of their HOA. By day 6, another letter arrived. This one claiming I owed $500 per day in fines. I laughed. It was absurd, but I also knew this wasn't going to stop on its own. So, I called my lawyer, Daniel Reeves, a friend from my environmental law days. "They have zero authority," he said flatly. "But people like that don't quit just because they're wrong. Document everything. They'll escalate." He was right. That weekend, I heard shouting from the HOA's clubhouse. I walked to the fence and listened. Madeline was giving a speech to her residents, twisting the truth into lies. She showed a photo of my cabin labeled Phase 1 of unauthorized development, claiming I planned to build a noisy industrial farm. I recorded everything. By the time the meeting ended, she had a petition circulating, people signing away without question. That night, I got a voicemail from an unknown number. "Mr. Cole," a woman whispered, "please be careful. Madeline doesn't just threaten, she acts. Leave before it gets worse." At 2 a.m. 2 nights later, my cameras caught an SUV rolling through my gate with headlights off. 2 figures stepped out, George with bolt cutters, and Madeline herself, dressed in black. They tried my cabin door, circled the property, took photos, then left. I called the police immediately. Officer Callahan arrived within 20 minutes. "You can press charges," he said after reviewing the footage. "Trespassing, attempted break-in, clear as day. But be warned, people like this don't stop easily." I filed the report. Then I doubled my security. Floodlights, license plate cameras, reinforced locks. The next afternoon, Madeline returned, with a lawyer in tow. "I'm Mr. Donovan, representing the Silver Oaks HOA," he began smoothly. "We're prepared to offer a settlement, vacate in 30 days, and the HOA will buy your property at market value." I pulled out my county records and Daniel's legal opinion. "This land is independent. I'm not selling, and if you step on my property again, I'll press charges." Madeline sneered. "You think you can just ignore us?" I don't think, I said. I know. They left fuming. That night, my power and water went out. The utility lines had been cut, cleanly, with tools. 3 of my cameras had been spray painted, but not all. The hidden ones caught everything. George, another man in a utility vest, and Madeline in the shadows directing them. That was the final straw. I compiled every photo, video, and document into a single massive file, then called my lawyer. Ethan, Daniel said, that's felony-level vandalism and conspiracy. Take everything to the district attorney. Now, I did. The next morning, I was finalizing my report when 2 patrol cars pulled up outside. 2 uniformed officers stepped out. Mr. Cole, we have a court order requiring you to vacate immediately. Something felt wrong. Their badges looked off. Their shoes weren't standard issue. May I see your credentials? I asked. If you don't comply, we'll arrest you for obstruction. One snapped. I took the document. It was fake. Wrong case number, printed signature, wrong format. I stepped back into my cabin, locked the door, and quietly dialed 911. 2 men impersonating police officers. I whispered. They're trying to evict me with a fake court order. The dispatcher's voice sharpened. Stay inside. Real officers are on their way. Through the window, I filmed everything. One of the imposters called someone. She's not cooperating. What do you want us to do? And there, at the fence line, stood Madeline, holding binoculars, directing them. Within 8 minutes, real police arrived. Sirens blaring. The fake officers froze as the truth unraveled. Officer Callahan recognized me immediately. These are costumes, he said, holding up the fake badge. You're both under arrest for impersonating law enforcement. I handed him my phone. I've got video of the woman who hired them. When the officers turned toward the HOA gate, Madeline was already trying to flee. They caught her at the back exit. She was arrested for conspiracy, trespassing, vandalism, and harassment. Justice, at last, had arrived. At the station, I turned over all my evidence, hundreds of pages, videos, recordings, and copies of her fake letters. The detective, Sergeant Holt, was impressed. In 20 years, I've rarely seen a case this well documented, she said. They searched Madeline's home and found everything. Forged documents, fake court seals, detailed notes on my property, and files on 3 previous victims. In each case, she'd harassed the owners until they sold at below market value, then secretly bought the land through shell companies. Within a week, she faced 8 criminal charges: impersonation of officers, conspiracy, trespassing, vandalism, fraud, stalking, and civil rights violations. Her accomplices all confessed. When the trial came, the evidence was overwhelming. Her lawyer advised a plea deal. She resisted until the recordings played in court. Finally, she pled guilty to 5 felonies. The judge's words were cutting. Ms. Crane, you abused your authority, terrorized your neighbor, and orchestrated crimes to maintain control. This was not a lapse in judgment. It was deliberate. Her sentence, 2 years in state prison, 18 months concurrent, $40,000 restitution, and a lifetime ban from HOA leadership. For the first time, she looked small, powerless. The fallout was swift. Her husband divorced her within weeks, horrified by what she'd done. The HOA ousted her unanimously and appointed Rachel, the woman who'd warned me, as the new president. Under her leadership, they reformed the bylaws, added transparency, and sent me a written apology. The accomplices faced their own justice. The unlicensed electrician fined and banned from practice, George serving 6 months in county jail, and the 2 fake officers sentenced to probation and community service. The Silver Oaks community itself was shaken. Some residents avoided me, others apologized. One older couple brought bread. A young family admitted they'd signed the petition out of fear. I accepted their words but kept my distance. Trust, once broken, takes time. Rachel visited once, asking, "Would you consult on how we can avoid overreach in the future?" I agreed to one meeting. We talked for an hour about boundaries, legal, ethical, personal. She listened, and for the first time, I believed real change might come from all this. 3 months later, I began the final project that had started it all, a wall. Not for spite, for clarity. 10 feet high, 300 feet long, reinforced concrete along the western edge. Painted white, lined with vines and wildflowers, softly lit at night. Beautiful, firm, unmistakable. My land, my rules. When it was done, The boundary stood like a silent truth between two worlds, the one that tried to control me and the one I'd built for myself. Madeline even wrote from prison once, a short, careful letter expressing regret. I filed it away and never replied. Now, as the sun sets behind that clean white wall, I finally feel it, peace. Real peace. The kind that comes from standing your ground and proving that sometimes the strongest statement isn't anger or revenge. It's a boundary, clear, fair, and permanent.